Have you watched Sinners yet? Ryan Coogler's film is a true cultural melting pot. It's horror, but it's also a period piece. It portrays the life of a black community in the American South during the 1930s, facing the weight of racial segregation and even the presence of the Ku Klux Klan. And you know what makes it even more interesting? The movie blends genres: horror, musical, social drama. If you enjoyed that unique mix, stick around until the end because I prepared a list of vampire films that break away from the ordinary, just like Sinners. Our first recommendation is Near Dark, the debut feature by Kathryn Bigelow, who would later win an Oscar for The Hurt Locker. Back in the 80s, Bigelow wanted to direct a Western, but nobody wanted to finance one. So, she found a creative solution, blending the Western with the vampire craze of the era, fueled by films like Fright Night. The result is the story of Caleb, a young man from a small town in Oklahoma. He meets May, a mysterious girl, who turns out to be a vampire. After being bitten, Caleb joins a gang of vampires. But there's a catch. He refuses to kill to feed. That sparks explosive tension within the group. Beneath the dust of the Western and the blood of horror, the film also hides a beautiful love story. At the time, Near Dark was a box office flop. Made for $5 million, it grossed only $3.4. To make matters worse, it was released almost at the same time as The Lost Boys, a big studio production. But critics praised it, and over time, it became a cult classic. Another vampire film you need to check out is The Addiction, from the controversial Abel Ferrara, the director of King of New York and Bad Lieutenant. Some critics had already said that King of New York felt like a modern remake of Nosferatu. But in The Addiction, Ferrara dives headfirst into vampirism. Here, Lily Taylor plays a philosophy student in New York who ends up becoming a vampire. What makes it unique is that the entire film is shot in black and white, giving it a dark, reflective atmosphere. Beyond horror, The Addiction is almost a philosophical meditation on life, death, addiction, evil, and guilt. Next stop, 1932. Carl Theodor Dreyer's Vampyr is one of the most hypnotic films ever made. Unlike Universal's Dracula, released the year before, Dreyer relies on a dreamlike atmosphere, almost like a filmed nightmare. The plot follows Alan Gray, a young man obsessed with the occult, who arrives at a village haunted by a vampire. But here, the story isn't the main point. It's the sensation, shadows, blurred images, a feverish dream captured on film. At the time, audiences didn't get it. Today, it's considered a late masterpiece of expressionism, still influencing modern filmmakers searching for atmospheric horror. Now, let's jump to 2013 with Jim Jarmusch's Only Lovers Left Alive. Here, vampires aren't monsters, they're eternal artists. Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston play an immortal couple who've spent centuries nurturing art, knowledge, and music. They don't hunt humans. Instead, they rely on blood bags obtained from hospitals. More than a vampire story, it's a melancholic reflection on immortality, loneliness, and humanity's decline. And of course, the soundtrack is stunning. It's Jarmusch, after all. In the 80s, Tony Scott brought sophistication and eroticism with The Hunger. The film stars Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie as stylish vampires living in New York. The neon-lit, smoky visuals are pure 80s. And the love scene between Catherine Deneuve and Susan Sarandon became iconic and controversial at the time. Though it flopped at the box office, The Hunger became a cult classic thanks to its bold, music video-like style. Dark, sensual, unforgettable. If you're in the mood for something lighter and satirical, Roman Polanski delivered The Fearless Vampire Killers in 1967. The movie mixes humor and horror, poking fun at vampire clichés. Polanski not only directs, but also stars as the clumsy assistant to a vampire hunter professor. With snowy castle sets and gorgeous cinematography, the film parodies the Gothic tradition while also honoring it. In 1993, a young Guillermo del Toro made his feature debut with Kronos. Here, vampirism doesn't come from a bite, but from an ancient mechanical device that grants eternal youth at the cost of an insatiable thirst for blood. The movie already showcased Del Toro's signature style: strange creatures, a blend of horror and fairy tale, and deep empathy for marginalized characters. Cronos won awards at Cannes and opened the doors of Hollywood for the director. Fast forward to 1998. Horror master John Carpenter gave us a grittier, more explosive take on vampires with vampires. Here, the bloodsuckers are savage beasts, hunted down by a group of mercenaries led by James Woods. With intense action and gallons of blood, the movie feels like a modern Western, except with vampires instead of outlaws. Not Carpenter at his peak, but pure entertainment for horror fans. For a completely different approach, George Romero, the father of the zombie genre, directed Martin in 1977. This might be the most realistic vampire movie ever made. The young Martin believes he's a vampire, but there are no fangs, no supernatural powers. He uses razor blades and syringes to attack his victims. Romero delivers a disturbing reflection. Is Martin really a supernatural creature, or just a deeply troubled young man lost in delusion? An underground classic that still sparks debate. And to wrap up, let's go to South Korea with Thirst from 2009, directed by Park Chan-wook, the same filmmaker behind Old Boy. Here, a devoted priest takes part in a medical experiment and ends up becoming a vampire. The clash between carnal desire and religious faith makes this one of the most intense vampire films ever made. Thirst won the jury prize at Cannes and is considered one of Park Chan-wook's best works, blending eroticism, violence, and existential conflict. So, what did you think of this list? From Dreyer's dreamlike classics to Park Chan-wook's Korean bloodlust, passing through cult favorites and satirical gems, these films prove that vampires can be much more than just monsters with fangs. Which of these have you seen, and which one are you adding to your watch list? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, if you enjoyed these recommendations, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. Because here on Mr. Smithy, the love for cinema never dies.